Radhe Radhe. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. May this be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna. And on this ASMR Sunday, allow me to set the extra special intention of this being a space for you to feel comfortable in, relaxed, so that, if I may, I can help you feel validated, affirmed, and overall comfortable. I would like this space to be an accepting and welcoming one, open to everyone, regardless of background, identity, etc. Hello, Nikki. 6 days till you fly to Sunday. You fly to Sunday? My goodness, you're flying through time? It's very exciting. Hello, Kulli. Good evening, April Virgo. Hello, Cookie. Hello, Natalia. May we come together as fellow spiritual seekers to uplift each other, relate in one another's experiences, and share positive sentiments. Fly to India. Yes, that's very exciting, Nikki. I'm very excited for you, I should say. And it will be a lovely time for you. And you'll have to let me know how it goes. Hello, Danzuela. I look like I've gotten a bit of sun. Well, I did this morning. I don't know if I've tanned that quickly, though. And by this morning, I just mean a few hours ago. Good morning, Steve. Yes, you do find me well. Good evening, Dan. I'm happy to see you here. The Sydney Murray. Hello, Ragnhildur. And yes, I still gotta upload yesterday's batch. I had to figure out whether it was okay to delete my my batch that you sent before. I actually did have enough room to download yesterday's batch, so you are free to remove it from the drive. Some of you know that Sky Guardian assists in these sanghas in various ways. For example, he has been clipping the readings and the meditations, so on our YouTube channel you can watch basically an audiobook of sorts for everything that we read and meditate with us. Good morning, Sebastian. And hello, Neil. Liz, you finally made it early? Well, I did too. A moment of silence for Sky's storage. Indeed, and my storage too. We're both trying to make do with very limited storage space. And thank you for your heart, me, Liz. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste, Chloe. He is awesome. I agree, Cookie. Very awesome indeed. And hello, G2 Infinity. Namaste. So I have a question of the day for you all, if you are all interested. Today I'm asking like a mother. This is my mom question for you today. What have you done to take care of yourself today? Please tell me. I would like to know. And if you haven't, I would also like to know that. Namaste, enlightened empath. You were gardening? Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I remember hearing from my therapist once that there, I don't know what the class of chemicals are, but in the soil, they interact with our skin and actually start producing happy chemicals, endorphins, which is amazing that we are literally connected to Mother Earth in that way. Thank you, Tatvamasi. for your quintet of roses. April, you share that you had lunch with your daughter and your mother. Oh my goodness. Motherception. I love that. A very bonding time, I'm sure. Chloe, you share that meditation is the only one. And you made your bed like you do every morning. Well, that's another one. I'm happy to hear that. I definitely didn't do that today. I'm happy to hear that. Eric, you share that you cooked dinner for yourself. Good, good. Donsuela, you share that you went for a walk with your senior doggo. Aww. That makes me happy to hear. Samuel, you share you've done nothing. That's okay. What are you planning on doing then, before you go to sleep? Or maybe sleep is the thing. Clayton, you share that you went for a 15-mile bicycle ride on this beautiful, mild, sunny day. Wow. That's lovely. User, you share that you played golf in the sunlight and exercised and some family time in the morning. Wonderful. Sounds like a good day. Yeah, real grounding with the soil cookie. Very true. Tatmamasi, you share that you will try to get much needed sleep today. Good, good. The Sydney Marie, you share you did absolutely nothing. Sleep. That was you taking care of yourself. Indeed. Sleep is a very good time we take for ourselves to heal, process, rest. It was a good day. I'm happy to hear that, April. Liz, you share that it's the first time in a while you spent money on yourself, and not only your kid. That's great. Good. Mrs. Grayscale Grim, you got some comfort food. Oh, I like to hear that. Yum yum. Goli, you share you talked kindly to yourself. That's so subtle, but it makes a huge difference. Nick, you share you called a friend of yours. You are a good friend, Nick. Hey, tonight you had pasta. Just one word. Pasta. That's great. Yeah, sleep is the thing for you, Samuel. I'm happy to hear that. Sleep is not something we do when we're lazy, but something we do that's very productive. Lauren, you shared you had Vegemite on toast and honeydew melon to nourish yourself before bed. Yummy. That sounds delicious. After a night of raving. Of course. Melinda, you read a bit of your book this morning and spent time with your sister. So sweet. And thank you, Jarrett, for your heartbeat. Radhe, Radhe. Chloe, you share you don't know what it is with you and meditation. And that's okay. It's calling you for some reason, and I think that's wonderful. Gamecraft, you ate 20 Oreos. It was amazing. Wow, you even counted. Juliet, you showered. That was cool. Was it? Or was it hot? Did you take a hot shower? I know my mom does. I don't get it. She comes out looking like a lobster, all cooked. User, you share that golf is very much a meditation. Definitely, I like that about golf. Ragnhildur, you share that you caught negative thoughts and turned them into positive ones. Oh my goodness. The sacred alchemy. It is happening. Huzzah! Thank you, Asma, for your heartbeat too. Jai Sitaram. 'Twas scolding, Juliet. Oh, good. Asma, you deep cleaned all of your apartment. Wow, you definitely deserve a cool glass of lemonade. At least that's what I would have. G2 Infinity, you share that the sunrise woke you up early. Surya Namaskar and Pranayaman in the park with squirrels and birds. I like your verbification of pranayam. Pranayaman. Pranayaman in the park. Wow. It's very impressive. Liz, you ask, what did I do for myself, Mr. Yam? What did I do for myself today? Well, I went to sleep very late last night, so I made sure to get a lot of rest, and I drank lots of water, and I got some sunlight today before coming in to do my live stream. And I laid in the grass. Chloe, you share. When you meditate, you tell yourself to breathe and let go of that tension. That's a great thing to do while meditating. Alfie, you share that you brought back the person you need to be. Wow. That's very beautiful. Welcome back. And Mrs. Grayscale, you share that you made a calzone for yourself and your spouse for dinner. It was good. Oh, it sounds good. That reminds me, I also tried something new. I put a tortilla with cheese and I stuffed it in a toaster. I'm always amazed with the things you can do with the toaster if you really exercise your intellect. I saw my friend do it the other day, where they basically made a I forget what it's called, where you have a tortilla and you fold it in half and there's cheese inside. Quesadilla. She basically made a quesadilla and stuffed it in the toaster, and I immediately was like, wow, that's intelligent. I need to do that sometime. So I did. Asma, you shared, is also the first day you quit vaping. It's amazing. I remember counting the days myself. I'm on day 1. Yes. I'm on day 2. Yes. And I think after 2 weeks I stopped counting because the urges started to go away. I believe in you, Asma. And if it helps, don't think about it in terms of days. Sometimes it's overwhelming to think, I'm going to quit from now to the rest of my life. Think about it in terms of whatever time makes sense to you. In this moment, I choose not to. In this moment, I choose not to. And as long as you make that decision in every moment, all you have to do is make it to the next moment. And thank you, Liz, for your dancing beaver and sunglasses. Hari Om Tat Sat. And a tiny diny. Where is my tiny diny? He's on the floor. Yippee! Woo woo, you share you went to the local park to exercise in the morning. I love that. I think we should take more advantage of our local parks. Wander and Jer, you share you awoke with pain and took to aspiring aspirin. Well, I'm glad it was aspiring aspirin. Or maybe inspiring aspirin. It's good to take care of your body and understand your limits. Terrence, hello. You ended up reconnecting with your foster family after 3 years of no contact. You're so happy. Wow. I feel you. That's wonderful. Thank you. Roxy, you turned into the daily Yams live stream. I'm happy you feel like this is a space of care and comfort. That's right, G2 Infinity. Mrs. Grayscale, you share that you've made quesadillas in a toaster before. Aluminum foil helps. That makes sense. Yeah. I would worry about putting metal in a toaster, but I guess most aluminum foil has a coating on it that prevents it from being conductive. Moon Girl, you ask, how do I deal with the darkness in this world? By being as bright as I can. And Ren, you ask, can we make the audio a little quieter? I can turn down the background music, definitely. And you got your mat today. I'm happy to hear that. Mats are great. Daisy Longears, you share you gave your 88-year mother a baby kitten to hold and watch her smile. Aww, that's so sweet. I love that. It's a great mental image too. So thank you everyone for entertaining me in this question of the day. I love to know how you are taking care of yourself today and every day. Sky Guardian, I noticed you didn't answer. I would like to know from you also. Thank you, Asma, for your tiny. Yahoo! And Woo Woo, thank you for your heartbeat. Hari Om Tat Sat. You will towards the end one. Okay, good. I'll answer for you. You went to satsang with Swamiji. You didn't answer yet. Says cornbread. Well, that's okay. I'll let you think about it and you can tell me. And Katie, you share, you decided not to be harsh on yourself for making a mistake. Good. Yeah. It doesn't really help to be hard on ourselves, which is funny. We think it does. But the moment we release all these expectations we have from ourselves, then we really open up to do what we want to do. Brandon, you share, you're 1 month clean now. Oh, brother, I'm so happy to hear that. It's amazing. I think it'll only get easier. In general, everyone has their low days, but it's okay. It doesn't mean you're not progressing in your journey. Echo Leaf, you meditated at your Buddhist shrine, speaking Marthas. I love to hear that. Wonderful. Mrs. Grayscale Grim, you were wondering, how did I deal with the hand-to-mouth habit? Some eat sunflower seeds. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I never tried that myself. I'm trying to think. For me, it's interesting. I don't think the habit was hand to mouth specifically, although sometimes I'd put a toothpick in my mouth or things like that. For me, it was about feeling something pleasurable. So what I'd do is I'd light incense, or I'd get a nice hot cup of tea, which I guess is a hand-to-mouth thing. But it was about stimulating the senses, mainly. Thank you, Brandon, for your pair of hand hearts. Your pair of donuts and a pair of roses. Hare Krishna. You're very welcome, Brandon. I can't take ownership at all, but I am very proud of you. Have a good night. So Sky Guardian, you share you took 60% of the satsang outdoor. Satsang? Listen to it. I should listen to it? Okay. That's exciting. Alright, so now that we've concluded with our question of the day, actually wait, Cornbread, you share you brushed your teeth today. Good. And you tried to socialize, but it didn't work out. Well, that's okay. You tried. Now I'd like to open with a short reading. Today we are reading from In Love, at Ease. This is a book by Yogi Tridevi. I keep messing up his name. It's actually Yogi Trivedi. I swapped the consonants. There it is on the side. It's about his guru, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, and how he was in love and at ease with everything. It was remarkable. There was not a moment in his life where he was not in love or at ease. Let's learn about some of his stories. In this chapter, In Love, we're talking about his love, his loving devotion. We're now in the third part of this chapter that covers his parabhakti, the highest kind of loving devotion that one can have. And traditionally it refers to the loving devotion that one has in their spiritual life towards God and Guru, towards the source energy and the spiritual teachers that guide you there. He had worked extremely hard during the construction of Atladra Mandir during Shastraji Maharaj's time, which is his guru, and had worked tirelessly to organize and celebrate large festivals during Yogiji Maharaj's time, which was his guru's guru and eventually became his guru as well. His guru actually died before his guru's guru did, so he was adopted by his grand guru, so to speak. No active service was too big or too small. He never worried about his title or station as the president of the organization. Once, while traveling from Limdi to Rajkot, Yogiji Maharaj's attendant was delayed because of car trouble and logistical mishaps. When he got to Limdi, he was surprised to see Yogiji Maharaj having lunch. "Who cooked? I got delayed on the way. Our car?" Yogiji Maharaj laughed out loud. "Guru? Not to worry. Pramukh Swami cooked for me. He made everything so swiftly." The president of the organization and a sevak, a selfless servant or attendant, typically assisting with daily rituals of worship, at heart. And delicious. Come sit with us. Try his cooking. Swamishri served his gurus long after they passed away through his every act, which were aimed at serving their bhaktas, their devotees, fulfilling their wishes for the satsang community, the fellowship of true spiritual seekers, and giving them credit for all that he achieved. I have not outlined Pramukh Swami Maharaj's tangible accomplishments in detail in this book. Much has been written about them elsewhere and has been celebrated by others. This does not mean that they should so easily be overlooked. Beyond being a Hindu religious leader, Swamishri was a leader of a large multinational NGO and a cultural ambassador whose accomplishments outshine so many of his contemporaries. Nonetheless, Swamishri did not think so. Everything he did was to please his gurus, and everything that he could do was because of his guru's grace. At the opening ceremony of the internationally acclaimed BAPS Swaminarayan Akshardham, New Delhi, Swamishri spoke as the entire nation and its leaders listened. I did not make this mandir out of competition with others, nor did I do so to make ourselves look big or others look small. We have made this mandir to fulfill the inner wish of our Guru, Yogi Ji Maharaj, to build a traditional stone mandir on the banks of the Yamuna river. This mandir is an act of bhakti, loving devotion to Bhagwan Swaminarayan, which is his Ishta Devata and our Gurus. Sitting on the stage were leaders of both major political parties and prominent political figures of the Indian government, including the President, the Prime Minister, and the leader of the opposition. They all watched in awe as the spiritual master led a master class in being an ideal spiritual disciple. A small incident occurred after the opening of BAPS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir in Nagpur, Maharashtra. The sadhus, the monks, were trying to lay the credit of this beautiful mandir at the feet of their guru. Swamishri would not allow it. He kept saying that the mandir was Yogi Ji Maharaj's inner wish. One of the younger sadhus countered, "We can understand you saying that for Delhi and other mandirs, but Yogi Ji Maharaj had never been to Nagpur. He probably could not even point to it on a map." Swamishri was not amused. "Didn't my guru say that he wanted to build mandirs and instill values in communities all over the world? Did he not say that he wanted to build an ethically concerned and morally aware society throughout the world? Isn't Nagpur in this world? Then all of this was his inner wish. I am because of him. You are because of him. A disciple is only because of their guru. Never forget that." Swamishri's love for his gurus was articulated best by his submission at their feet. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Kristen. Love lives on in memories. Reliving moments of love can strengthen and rejuvenate one's love. Swamishri found solace and bliss in thinking of his gurus. He never missed a chance to remember his gurus. Smriti, which is remembrance, is one way to feel closer to one's guru. There was a certain spark of joy on Swamishri's face whenever sadhus asked him to recall an interaction with Shastraji Maharaj or Yogi Ji Maharaj. That spark of joy was usually followed by tears of joy as he remembered the way in which his guru showered him with affection and love, taught him important lessons in spirituality and worldly progress, and cared for him while he was ill. These memories brought him delight and ease, even in moments of adversity and pain. Smriti was his antidote for difficulties. Hello, Matt. Swamishri was resting after his angiography in Mumbai on the 1st of January 2008. Dr. Kiran Doshi asked Swamishri if he felt any pain or pressure during the procedure. Swamishri shrugged his shoulders and said, "I am not sure. I was not paying attention." The sadhus asked him what he was thinking about. He answered, "My gurus. I recalled the incident when Shastriji Maharaj initiated me as a sadhu. We were sitting in the Akshar Dairy, Gunatitanand Swami Maharaj's memorial shrine. Yogiji Maharaj was sitting across from us. Shastriji Maharaj was patient throughout the ceremony, even though it was running late. After naming me, he turned to Yogiji Maharaj and asked him to bless me. 'Bless him, Jogi,' which was his term for Yogiji Maharaj, 'so that he obtains your spiritual qualities and can give back to the satsang community and society.' Swamishri was lost in narrating the incident. Relishing those moments of love with both of his gurus helped him to get through the entire procedure without registering pain or discomfort. On frequent occasions, Swamishri repeated his guru Yogiji Maharaj's words, 'Smriti e dhukni harnari,' or memories of the moments of love with God and Guru are the antidote for pain and sorrow. Swamishri kept these smritis vibrant in his mind and heart by emulating his Guru's actions. Once in Mumbai, Gyan Priyadas Swami handed Swamishri a pillow to put on his lap while meeting the bhaktas. He smiled and said, "Is that comfortable? You seem to like resting your hands on the pillow." Swamishri was amused. "Like the pillow? I only do this because it reminds me of my guru. Shastriji Maharaj used to place a pillow on his lap. Doing so made me think of my gurus and appreciate all the times we spent together." Brahma Viharidas Swami had a similar experience in Sarangpur, except on that occasion, Swamishri turned Brahma Viharidas Swami's head around softly with his hands and showed him a photograph of Shastriji Maharaj with a pillow on his lap. "Brahma Vihari, this is why I keep a pillow on my lap. It reminds me of love and bhakti, loving devotion, fresh in my heart." Swamishri's mind was constantly in love, fixated on moments with his gurus. On 3 occasions, he asked me if I was writing my memories of love in a journal and reliving them. Today, those memories have become the foundation for this publication. And I'm going to pause our reading of In Love at Ease there for now. So, thank you for listening. And I love that recommendation of writing your memories of love down and reliving them. That's wonderful. Now we may open the floor to questions and answers on anything you want to talk about. It doesn't even have to be questions and answers. And thank you, Joth, for that love and roses you sent while we read. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Christopher, for your heart, me too. And Mama Anja, thank you for your pair of roses. Katie, you ask, would it be possible to do some whispered ASMR at some point? Definitely. Maybe next week we can dedicate the whole live stream to whispering. And thank you. Stephen, for sending your love from both you and Rebecca. Much love back to you. ASFD does appear to speak in riddles, doesn't he? Or she? Loopy Lane. And yeah, that's a good point, Sky Guardian. Soft-spoken reading portions would be preferable. Summer solstice is definitely something I'm looking forward to. I love the summer sun. And thank you, Michael. Happy Sunday to you too. And thank you, Michael, for your heart, me, and rose. Radhe, Radhe. Hello, Joshua. Thank you, Cookie, for your fire. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Corey W, for your heart, me too. Jai Swaminarayan. And Mama, thank you for your pair of finger hearts and a friendship necklace. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sky Guardian, you share that you hate the summer since you lost all your pigment. You burn. You hate the sun. You cringe when you see the sun. You're scared by the sun, to be honest. It sounds like you are becoming a bit of a vampire. And you don't like garlic either, hey? Yeah, I think your canines might start growing next. And hello, Apple user. You are currently in a cabin in the woods with a small fire, and it's raining on the roof. Wow. What a wonderful scene that is. Very picturesque. Such wonderful atmosphere. Rain puts me to sleep. Definitely. I love nature's elements. Water, earth, wind, and fire. Hello, Gina. Namaste, Guru Tanet. And good evening, Strawberry Star Bunny. And so you share that. It's a beautiful evening here in PA, sitting outside listening with your cats, M and May. What lovely names for your cats. M and May, M and May. May they be loved, and let M have all your love. And thank you, Gina, for your pair of roses. Natalia, you share that your anxiety never lets you sleep. Do you let your anxiety sleep? Perhaps your anxiety also would like some relaxation. Do you offer that to your anxiety? Or when it arises, do you fight with it and get it to stay up with you? Or do you offer it love and walk it through relaxation before you come to relax yourself? Oh, you fight with it. befriend it. If you treat your anxiety like a friend, it'll treat you like one also. Emotions mirror us. How we treat our emotions, that's how they treat us. If we are impatient with our anger, then our anger is going to be impatient with us. If we take care of our anxiety will take care of us also. One of the biggest steps in befriending anxiety is changing our language around it. You'll notice that here in the Western world or English-speaking countries, we often use warlike terms to describe our emotions. I want to conquer my depression. I want to beat my sadness. I want to win over my anxiety, defeat my fear. I want to control my emotions. But if it is all about inflicting dominance, then how can there be a friendship? How can there be love and understanding? If instead we befriend our anxiety, are patient with our anger, love our sadness, accept our fears, just this change in vocabulary is such a pivotal moment in our journey. And thank you, Moonflower Magic, for your heart me. Radhe Radhe. And Strawberry Star Bunny, thank you for your rosa and applause. Apple user, you had shared that thunder is starting in a bit though. Your dog's gonna be scared and a bit annoying. Yes, that's true. But how brilliant of an experience also. I mean, it's literally electrifying, shocking, so energetic. What a release. I bet it feels so good to be a thundercloud and suddenly all that energy is released. Actually, there's a couple different kinds of lightning. Cloud to ground, ground to cloud. But when the earth releases that too into the air, it's so relieving. I was holding that in for too long. It's like the earth is sneezing. And when it sneezes, oh my. I think we all know someone that when they sneeze, the whole house shakes. Well, when Mother Earth sneezes, she lights up the whole surrounding area. She shakes everything. Marcy, you have a thunderstorm there on the East Coast. Kalina, you shared that you're anxious being alone. I understand. It's funny, sometimes we're anxious when we're around people. Sometimes we're anxious when we're not around people. Know that you're not alone in what you're going through. You might be alone while anxious, but you're not alone in your anxiety. There are millions around the world experiencing very similar emotions, and it's so natural when you put it like that. That anxiety is a very real part of the human experience. You know, anxiety is not life-threatening. It's true, if you go to the hospital, say, I have anxiety, they'll turn you back. Not because they're not considerate of what you're going through, but because they know that it always passes. You will be okay. I know this from experience. I'd go to the hospital. I'd go to the emergency. I'd say, I'm anxious, it's not going away. And so they'd entertain me a little bit. They'd do all the tests. You're okay. You can go home. But doctor, I'm still anxious. So of course I thought, oh no, that means I have something that's so rare it doesn't even show up on the tests. But that's how the anxious mind works. Yeah. You should say bless you to thunder. Bless you, Mother. And so you share you've been watching your pain today, which has been really helping with anxiety, becoming the witness. Yeah. Just recognizing that distinction between the seer and the seen, entering what's called Sakshi Bhav, witness consciousness. You can put a great deal of distance between you and the object of pain. And Natalia, you share. At the moment, it feels like the end of the world. It definitely does. Yeah. But no matter how many times I felt like the world was going to end, it never did. And I've actually started to ignore my mind in some ways. Especially after I saw this meme a few years back saying, don't trust your thoughts after 9 p.m. Thoughts after 9 p.m., don't listen to them. I think it should really be thoughts after 9 a.m. But now whenever I have an anxious thought and it's late in the day, I go, it's late in the day. I shouldn't trust my thoughts after 9 p.m. I'm gonna go to sleep, and when I wake up, I'm gonna feel better. It's almost like being too lazy to engage in your anxiety. Anxiety comes up, and anxiety says, hey, listen to me. Hello, listen to me. And I look over at anxiety, and it's like a mother after a long day and their kid's doing something stupid. And you look back at what you're doing. There's just no engagement. Hello, ethereal whale lotus. Liam, you share. You don't trust your thoughts all day. Oh, good. Good. Asma, you ask, how does one know when they've hit rock bottom? When there's nothing left to do but go up. You can't drop further than the bottom. The only way to go is up if you're at the bottom. Isn't it so? I'll tell you a secret. Not many people will tell you this. In the world, we should feel like we're on top of everything. That's the goal in the world. Consider yourself at the top. Imagine yourself as king or queen. But in the spiritual world, always imagine yourself to be rock bottom. What applies in the world, the complement applies in spirit. Spiritually, if you always consider yourself at the bottom, then there's nowhere else to go but up in each moment. And that keeps you looking up. Be grounded. Well said. Om Tat Sat. And thank you, brilliant genius, for your rose. Jai Hanumanji. G to infinity, you ask, how is Mataji today? Why don't we ask her? Oh Mataji, a lovely Sanghi named G to infinity is wondering how you are today. Is she even here? Ah, there she is.
Om Shanti, dear G to infinity. I am as timeless as the divine, ever blissful like the Atman. How can I assist you today?
Hello, Starfire. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And yeah, we won't forget to close Mataji this time, so my computer doesn't. Still gotta figure out what the memory leak is. Did you know that Club Penguin has a memory leak? You know what a memory leak is? Our computer only has so much RAM, random access memory. It's like the short-term memory of the computer. It gets wiped every time it powers off and every time it wakes up. Just like us, we have a long-term memory and we have a short-term memory. In the morning, our short-term memory is fresh. And as we go to sleep, we are dumping the short-term memory. Anything that needs to stay there gets processed into the long-term memory. Some software, they have memory leaks, where part of them just keeps filling up the short-term memory, the RAM, until it gets full and your computer has to dump it all. I think this happens in everyday life as well. Some of the things we do, they just keep piling up in our short-term memory until we get overwhelmed, overstimulated with all that knowledge, information, stimulation. We have to understimulate, go into our room, hide under the covers maybe, and dump it. Club Penguin has a memory leak, but it's very, very slow. You only know this if you keep Club Penguin running for days on end. I know this because a few years ago, I wanted to get 1 million coins in Club Penguin. This was a childhood dream of mine. I always wanted to be a millionaire in Club Penguin. So I wrote a program that played Club Penguin for me. And after a week, I had 1,000,000 coins in Club Penguin. But my computer almost died because I didn't realize it had a memory leak. And that was my karma, I guess. Thank you, Moonflower Magic, for your quintet of ginger man. Radhe, Radhe. And hello, Alice. My afternoon has been well so far. I woke up in it. Thank you for asking. How are you, my dear? Yeah, it is like a buffer cookie, exactly. Sounds like computer anxiety. Definitely. Sky Guardian, you used to play Neopets back in the day. I forgot about Neopets. Yeah, that's a classic. I do know programming. It's one of the few things I feel very confident about saying. I think if I'm not doing a Sangha or replying to messages or sleeping or watching YouTube videos on spiritual things, I'm probably programming something. To me, it is the best meditation. I definitely get programming samadhi, where I absorb myself in it. And then suddenly it's 4 in the morning and oh my god, I should go to sleep. So childhood dream achieved successfully, unsuccessfully, says Liam. Yes, it was the task succeeded unsuccessfully. Alice, you go to sleep at 4 a.m. too. Oh my goodness. 4 a.m. is very late. It's called Brahma Muhurti, I believe. Let me fact check with Mataji. Mataji, what is 3 or 4 in the morning called? What's that sacred hour called when the first light appears? Oh, Tatvamasi, you already got it.
Ah, dear one, that sacred hour is called Brahma Muhurta. It's the time for the highest meditation, when the universe whispers secrets.
I love that. I need my beauty sleep. You are right, suspicious bee. Liam, you sometimes fall asleep at 6 in the morning. Yeah, I definitely used to sleep in the middle of the day. I don't think there's a single hour of the day that I have not fallen asleep at or woken up at. My bingo is complete. Every hour I've woken up at or gone to sleep at before. G2 Infinity, you share that programming is a tangible way to control. I think about that it's amazing that it does the same thing every time you run it. There's almost nothing in the world that does that. But I guess computers these days have so much error correction. They're built so robustly that huge enterprises and life-changing systems are built on the assumption that this piece of code is going to run the same way every time you run it. To me, I also see it as an art form. I love the process of taking a piece of code and then asking, is this canonical? Is this how one would do it by the book, if there was a hypothetical book in which all problems were solved in the most efficient way? I love the art of code. It's very similar to the production of mantras, I think. That you take some truth and you keep distilling it in essence, sieving it through various filters until what you get is very fine. What is left is this crystalline seed that can produce all of the experience if one meditated upon it. Mind you, sometimes that leads to some very obfuscated code. I think if someone else were to look at my code, they'd go, what the heck is he on? But if it works, it works. Rubber ducking. Yes, you know your programming terminology, Marcy. David, you ask, if we got rid of names, would we still have an ego? Definitely. Because ego is more than just a name. But your ego does include your name. It's your identifier. Everything that could be used to identify you is part of one's ego. If someone says something in a crowd and you turn to look, assuming that they're calling out to you, then that's part of your identity. Be it your name, or if someone says, is there a doctor here? And you happen to be a doctor and you turn. And thank you, Heaven Bound, for your heart meet. Jai Swaminarayan. Alice, you say something beautiful. The only thing I relate and see myself as is experiencing life. That is our ultimate identity. The experiencing itself. That said, we still have a body to take care of, a mind to manage, emotions to understand, and duties to fulfill. So having an ego is necessary to be a part of this world. Starfire, you are wondering, what does it mean, soft-spoken spiritual validation? Well, I think the soft-spoken is self-evident. I hope. Spiritual validation is validation with a spiritual twist, where I hope to affirm that you are exactly where you're meant to be, and your journey of healing, growing, learning is ongoing, unfolding exactly how it's meant to be. That who you are in essence is spirit, formless and unattached. You are the solitary witness of all that is. Your only bondage is not seeing this. In Connected Collective, you share. Your ego is hurt. You were cheated on. How to recover ego. By recognizing that you are infallible in love. there is always the opportunity to make amends for our mistakes, no matter how hard journey may seem. That you are not wrong for loving. That what you saw in that which you love is true. You were able to see the vision of beauty, infinity incarnate. But that very same infinity that you saw through them is found in everyone. That's not to say what you had wasn't precious or unique. It definitely was. But the same depth of preciousness and uniqueness you will be able to find in other ways. In fact, all that you love within another is also found within your very own self. In fact, that is what makes someone so easy to love, is that they become a mirror to all our virtues and defects. They remind us of what good we're capable of, how far we've come and how far we have to go. Sometimes our own mind is unable to reflect this light of the self, but others can serve as that too. You share that you love your mom and yourself for your heart more than anyone. I love that. I love my mom too, very much. Thank you, Elizabeth, for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, the link below, for your rose. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Ragnahildur, for your swan. So beautiful. You know, I want to make a mantra for a swan. Oh Mataji, what mantra could use the Sanskrit word Hamsa for swan?
Dear one, the mantra Soham or Hamsa is perfect. It means I am that, representing the eternal and pure self, like the swan.
I could just say Hamsa itself. Soham Hamsa. Thank you, Ragnahildur. Connected Collective, you share that it's sad not many people know their mother's love. You've noticed the people that hurt you have been hurt by their mothers. I've noticed that also, and it's a wise observation because it provides us with an opportunity to be more motherly in the absence of motherly love that others could have experienced. When we think about how precious it is to have motherly love, wouldn't we want to emulate that for others also? Now, it's not our responsibility to be the mother of everyone, but it can be very freeing ourselves to open up to that potential that there is a mother within everyone. Oh, that's very sweet, Cookie. I'm very grateful for your gratitude for my beautiful mother. She is a sweet soul, and I am so lucky to have her as my mother. Skyrocket Guy, you are wondering, but why delete my past videos? because they were not a reflection of my higher intentions. They were a reflection of where I was in my journey at that time. But having grown, I see so much more potential in the ways in which I am able to connect to other people's hearts and minds. Although I don't reach as many people through doing live streams such as these, I have sacrificed breadth for depth. It is okay for me to not reach millions of people. It is even better for me to reach even deeper depths within the hearts of 100 people. Even reaching to the core of just one person is more important to me than reaching the surface of 1 billion people. Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you for your heart me and quartet of roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. Suzer, you ask, what are my thoughts as we draw closer to the final days? Every day, we are closer to death. But every day, we are even closer to life. As long as you keep this in mind, you will only increase in your proximity towards the core of life. You've never been more closer to death in this moment, sure, but you've also never been more alive. All of life has been building up to this moment. The entirety of your life exists right now. And Sky Guardian, you share, and for you to help me assist in that is your desire. My heart sings for you, Sky Guardian. Such preciousness is your inheritance. I do not know what samskaras have remained from innumerable past births, but it is clear that there is a yogi within you, destined to embody pure skill in action. And thank you, brilliant genius, for your rose. Brilliant genius, you are also wondering, any advice on how to deal with not being believed? Well, this is definitely something I experience every day. So you've come to the right person. Echo Leaf, you disagree. There is a Pooh Bear inside you. That's cute. Actually, no one believes anyone. We only believe what we have experienced. And if you experience something that I have experienced, and what I say is able to connect with you, then when you say you believe me, what we really mean is that you believe that we have shared a truth together. And if someone says they don't believe you, well, that merely means that they have yet to share a truth with you. They have yet to relate in their own experience. And that says nothing about what you've experienced, only that there is a possibility in them. You're welcome. I've had a lot of opportunities to reflect on people not believing me, and I'm sure I'll have many more today, let alone the rest of my life. MC, you ask, do I believe in bread? Bread is the body of Christ. You know, it's amazing how everything we eat becomes us. Sure, you are what you eat, but not literally. All of the constituents of the nutrients that we absorb, they become our cells. Our enzymes, our proteins, our DNA. It's important to keep this in mind as you look at a meal before you. Can you look at everything on your plate and affirm to yourself, I'm happy with all of this becoming a part of me? That I consent in merging with this life that has appeared before me? Is there a reverence in this idea that everything on this plate is about to become me? It has sacrificed its chance at growth for my chance to make something of it. Tatvamasi, when you share, the body knows what to become. Fish becomes cat, same fish becomes human. Isn't that interesting? If someone told you they had invented a machine that converts bread into human or bread into cat, that would be a claim of divinity, wouldn't it? Only God can convert bread into flesh. Therefore, the miracle of life is within you. You are that very machine. That is why your mother can say, I have invented such a machine. My child can produce flesh from bread. I grew it myself. I love that echo leaf. Oh, bother. I'm bare of very little brain, and big words bother me. Simple words make big effect. What is that quote from The Office? Why use big word when small word do trick? Cookie superior bread, says MC. I never met a cookie I didn't like. Did the mom create the child, or did the child create the mom? I love that. I love that question a lot. It gives a whole new interpretation to the question, did God create humanity, or did humanity create God? In the traditional interpretation, it sounds like we're making God into fiction. But in the same way, we mean that a child created the mother, that the child is what gives the role of a mother, creates that possibility in them. So too, we create the possibility to give that role, that potential in our source. I like that, Sky Guardian. I don't know if you heard that. My tummy just made a funny noise. Your interpretation is God has no will, but our will gives rise to God's will. I love that. I think that's reflected in the Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. I think that's very interesting. So the will is already accomplished in heaven, but we are praying for that will to become manifest on earth. That sounds like our responsibility, doesn't it? It is our prayer that we will be able to carry that out. Tummy wants bread. Yeah, Tummy is saying, bread. Hello, Bob. Oh, I like this koan. A bird in the hand is worth two if by sea. I've never heard of this before. I love it already. And I love that frostalgia. Jesus' message was to bring heaven to earth, not after. Well, are we ready to inherit the kingdom of God? Biblical words have such an interesting energy to them. The word choice, it's very Western, but it's not bad. It's like you can feel the medieval influence of kingdoms. It's fascinating. Nanda. I was thinking about you the other day. Been a while since I've seen your name here. Am I excited for Inside Out too? I loved Inside Out 1. Yes. We are the whole world inside out. Bing Bong's revenge. Oh, good. Brilliant genius, you're asking, do I have synesthesia? We all do. I can prove it to you. When I say the word cat, what do you think of? What sounds come to mind? Can you imagine soft fur? Meow. Can you envision whiskers? Purring? That's synesthesia, because the word cat is just a sound. When I say the word cat, I'm not actually manifesting the existence of a cat here before you. It's just a funny series of sounds. C-A-T, cat. Therefore, there is a correlation between this sound and your other senses, like the image of a cat, the feeling of petting a cat, the sound of its meows and purrs. All words are synesthesia because we correlate sound with concept and meaning. Music is like synesthesia because we correlate that sound and rhythm with feelings and emotion. The sound, like music, doesn't objectively carry any specific emotion, since it can invoke one in you and a different one in another. So there is synesthesia there. Written text is also synesthesia. When you see the number 5, it doesn't have anything to do with 5 things. Just a couple of lines. But yet those couple of lines remind you of the concept of 5 things. Kalki, you share it. You're a cat so much. You even think like a cat. When you're running, you imagine you are the spirit cat. I love that. I used to think I was a cat when I was a kid. I would think, I can see in the dark really well. My nails grow really fast. I can run on all 4s. I'm surprised I didn't become a furry, to be honest. Everything was ready for that to happen. Thank you, Moonflower Magic, for your 1-finger heart and another 1, 2, 3, 4, and another 1. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, Feline, for your rose. Orla, you share that you theorize furries didn't let themselves play pretend animals as kids. That's a very interesting idea. I've never thought about it like that. I definitely love to play pretend. My hair looks really curly tonight. I guess it does. Suspicious beat. G to infinity. You share that you're 51% cat, 49% puppy. Where does the extra 2% come in? And thank you, Patrahim. Thank you for your TikTok. It's lovely to see you here, brother. Yes, Sky Guardian. We can read from another section of the Vachanamrut. This, of course, is a spiritual text that we've been reading one passage at a time. Sometimes the words can be very direct, so I'll do my best to interpret in a way that is understanding of this ASMR Sunday. It's a relatively recent spiritual scripture, whereas others are thousands of years old. This one comes from the turn of the 19th century, where a figure known as Bhagwan Swaminarayan was giving discourses in India. Here we're going to talk about Gadhada 152. Realizing God through the four scriptures. In Indian culture, it's not enough to believe in God. One must realize it. And so the scriptures provide a series of practices that one can follow from beginning to end to have this realization occur. Can be very scientific. On Maha Vadhi III, Samvat 1876, or the 2nd of February 1820, Sriji Maharaj Swaminarayan was having a scripture read on the veranda outside Dada Kachar's Medi in Gadhada. The scripture was the Moksha Dharma, a chapter from the Mahabharata, the great epic of 100,000 verses. It's also the epic where we get the Bhagavad Gita from as just a small excerpt. This excerpt was the Moksha Dharma. Moksha means liberation, on enlightenment. Dharma means conduct, righteous duty, that sort of thing. He was dressed entirely in white clothes. At that time, an assembly of munis as well as devotees from various places had gathered before him. During the reading, a reference was made to the fact that one who understands God's form through the four sets of scriptures, Sankhya, Yoga, Vedanta, and Pancharatra, which are various schools of Indian philosophy, should be known to be completely enlightened. That is to say, this God realization is identical, synonymous with enlightenment in theistic traditions. Hearing this, Muktanand Swami asked, Maharaj, please explain how one can realize God through those four sets of scriptures. Also, what deficiency remains in one who does not realize God in that way? Sriji Maharaj replied, the Sankhya scriptures propound God as being the 25th element. Moreover, just as the 24 elements are incapable of doing anything without God, Jiva and Ishvar, soul and God, or deity, are also incapable of doing anything without God. Thus, Jiva and Ishvar are also included in the 24 elements. These 24 elements, which include Jiva and Ishvar, are called Kshetra, which means the field, and God, the 25th element, is called Kshetragna, the knower of the field, the witness of the field. This is discussed in the Bhagavad Gita as well. The yoga scriptures propound God as being the 26th element and possessing a definite form. They describe Jiva and Ishvar as the 25th element and describe the 24 elements as being distinct from them. They prescribe that one should meditate on God, realizing one's Atma, true self, to be distinct from those elements. Various philosophies distinguishing models of existence. Sky Guardian, you share, this is what Jim tells you every week, the field, Kshetra. Very interesting. The Vedanta scriptures describe God as pervading all, being the cause of all, the supporter of all, nirguna, without quality, unattained, untainted, rather, by Maya, the material energy, this whole universe of form, non-dual, as well as being a non-doer, despite being the all-doer. They also describe him as possessing only divine attributes and not any worldly attributes. The Pancharatra scriptures' description of God is that there is one Sri Krishna Purushottam Narayan, and it is he who emanates into the forms of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. It is also he who assumes an avatar, a descension on this earth, one who offers the 9 types of bhakti, loving devotion. To him attains liberation. These are the various descriptions of God as given in those 4 scriptures. One who thoroughly understands them should be known to be completely enlightened. Leaving the other 3 scriptures aside, if one were to try to understand God's form using the Sankhya scriptures alone, then a discrepancy would arise. Specifically, the Sankhya scriptures do not describe Jiva and Ishvar as being distinct from the 24 elements. Thus, when followers of Sankhya reject the 24 elements and believe their Jivatma, individual self, to be distinct from them, they would understand their Jivatma, but not God, to be the 25th element. The drawback in trying to understand God's form in the yoga scriptures alone is that by believing God to possess a definite form, the followers of yoga consider him to have limitations. They do not understand him to be the antaryami of all and absolutely perfect. The drawback in trying to understand God's form in the Vedanta scriptures alone is that God, who is described as the cause of all, pervading all, and nirguna, without quality, is believed to be formless. The eternal form of God would not be realized as being devoid of mayic, material arms, legs, etc., and as possessing divine limbs. The drawback in trying to understand God's form from the Pancharatra scriptures alone is that human traits are perceived in the avatars of God, the descensions, who are worthy of being offered bhakti, loving devotion. Also, God is understood as being present in only one place at any one time, but not as being the Antaryami of all and absolutely perfect. These are the types of discrepancies that arise when a person does not realize God using a combination of all four sets of scriptures. However, if one attempts to realize God using all four sets of scriptures together, then the flaw raised by one's understanding of one set of scriptures is corrected by one's understanding of another. Therefore, they who understand God using all four sets of scriptures together is known as being completely enlightened. If one ignores one set of scriptures, they are known as being 3/4 enlightened. If they ignore two sets of scriptures, they are known as being half enlightened. If they ignore 3 sets of scriptures, they are known as being 1/4 enlightened. And ignoring all 4 sets of scriptures, they act according to their own mentally concocted interpretations of the scriptures. Then, even if they are Vedanti, or one with upasana, they are lost. In other words, they cannot be said to have found the path of liberation. Thus, such a Vedanti's jnana, knowledge, is hypocritical, and a person with such upasana is a hypocritical devotee. So that was a very technical passage, as many of these are, and a little direct, but nonetheless, I like that point of being open to all sets of scriptures. And as you become more aware of various different understandings, then you can become deeper in your own liberation and understand the ultimate reality from all angles. So thank you for listening. Now we may continue with our Sangha. And thank you, Aquarius lady, for your tiny. Yippee! And thank you, little wing Nico, for your heart meat, cloud bread, give me the vote, and an ice cream cone. Radhe, Radhe. And one cheeky chick, thank you for your heart meat too. Kalki avatar is among us. Have they come? Vishnu's 10th avatar. Finally. Yeah, sometimes Kalki Ji does take avatar in this comment section, actually. I'm happy that you found something you needed to hear here. Ethereal Way of Lotus. I like that, Galbi. Basically, if you don't read it, you don't see what others know. You just stay in the dark searching. Yeah, very good point. It's helpful to understand the other one's perspective, even if we come to disagree with it. What I like about debate in India, or the cultures that have arisen in and around India, is that there is an idea of Dharmic debate, where there is a science and an art having a respectful debate that is productive. It's not like the audience becomes left with picking a side. There is a mutual understanding reached. That is the goal. And that you listen to everything your opponent has to say, and then you think about it first. And you wait until it makes sense to you, and then you repeat it back to them. Are you saying so and so? And if they say, no, I think you've misunderstood me, Then you go, okay, could you explain it one more time? And it keeps going back and forth until you understand each other's position. And I love that. Oh, I don't know if I'm doing any teaching, Cookie, but if I can relate in my experience with any of you, then that makes me happy. Username, you share potatoes are the best potato. I love that. And you are the best you. And hello, Anna. Can we hear from the original G? Asks Grateful Human. Is G here? G to infinity is here. Can we hear from you? The original infinite G. Couple of nomads. You're like in the background today, less distracting. Oh good, yeah, I was thinking about you. My assistant. Sure. What would you like to hear from Mataji? The union of the holy books. I like that. Mataji, Grateful Human, is wondering, they'd like to hear from you about the union of the holy books.
Ah, my dear, the union of holy books is like a garland of wisdom. The Vedas, Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, Quran, all are petals guiding us to the same divine source.
I love that. Thank you, Mataji. What would you say to a world which is so divided, seeing one source as valid and another as invalid?
Ah, my child, I would say, Ekam Sat Viprabahud Vedanti. Truth is one. The sages speak of it in many ways. See the divine in all paths.
Good night, Chloe Evans. May you have wonderful dreams and a restful sleep. Hello, Taylin. You're on your ASMR account. I didn't know you did ASMR. That's cool. ASMR. I like that. It's the right day for it. I think ASMR is so healing. I truly believe that ASMR artists are doing wonderful work for the collective conscious. So important to be relaxed. From relaxation we can conquer anything. I love that, Regina. When the whole world realizes they all hold a piece from the same puzzle. Carl, you ask, what do they say about dance? Because you are a dancer, and boy, it is like being in the sky. I like that. Dance is very freeing. To me, it's like an expression of symmetry. Symmetry of the human body. Symmetry of making repetitive movements through time. And then spontaneous breaking of symmetry in fractal-like ways to create even smaller dances within each movement. The dance of Shiva. Mataji, what do you think about dance? Kalki shares that they are a dancer, and boy, it is like being in the sky.
Ah, dear Kalki, dance is divine. Like Lord Shiva's Tandava, it unites body, mind, and spirit. When you dance, you become one with the cosmos. Keep dancing.
You seem to have a connection with Mataji, grateful human. Thank you, Betty Yao, for your friendship necklace. You know, the Buddha once said that he would return. I'll tell you the story. He was once walking with a disciple, another monk. The monk had asked if he could join the Buddha on his walk. The Buddha said, "All right, but as long as you are silent, I like to enjoy the music of the leaves crunching beneath my feet." So, the monk agreed and they went for a walk. But the Buddha could tell that the monk had a burning question. "Oh, Bhikkhu, what is it you have to say? I can feel as though you have something to ask." The monk said, "Thank you, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to disturb you since I know you wanted me to remain silent." Buddha said, "That's all right, now tell me your question." The monk said, "Over your life, in your teachings, you have taught us so much. What haven't you taught us?" The Buddha gestured towards all of the leaves still on the trees and on the ground, and he picked up but a handful and said, "This is how much I've taught. And this is how much there is to teach. But I will tell you this." And he picked up one leaf and he said, "In 2,500 years from now, I will return as Maitreya." That's interesting for two reasons. The first is that Buddhas do not return. In the Buddhist canon, enlightened beings are liberated from the cycle of births and deaths. They do not take incarnation again. The second reason that's interesting is because Maitreya means friend. I will return as the friend, or a friend. Who knows what this means? Like all of the Buddha's abstract, vertical language. But I'll tell you this much, that I believe in this age, which indeed is 2,500 years after the passing of Lord Buddha, it is friendship where wisdom blossoms most freely. The time of guru-disciple relationship, though having a place, is changing, in that we are starting to see authority not in people older than us, but in people who are on the same path as us. that there is a teacher in our friend and a student in ourselves. Through friendship, wisdom blossoms. Could it be that such a miraculous figure such as the Buddha could incarnate as friendship itself in this age? One of the four imponderables of Buddhism is that one could never ponder on the full range of abilities of the Buddha. It is entirely possible that one could reincarnate in more abstract ways, just as the Christ has a second coming within your very own soul that will enter the soul of humanity. May the Buddha enter the friendship of humanity, and through that friendship, we grow and learn together. Just a thought, a passing thought. Once it came, hence it goes. And thank you, Pidge, for your heart me and give me the vote. Hari Om Tat Sat. We are all of student minds. I like that, G to infinity. And I like that, grateful human. Clear seeing of each other within friendship and within right view of each other. And I like that, Kal. Maybe he will come as a best friend, as a mirror. Hello, Scott. Have I heard of Sri M discuss about the Naga? I don't think I have. Maybe you can tell me about it though. And hello, Jacob. Welcome back. Namaste, Christine. And thank you for your well wishes, Angela. And I like that, Rahina. Well, when you become Buddha, you become one with the all. So through that, you are reborn as everyone. So beautiful. Hello, Theo. Thank you, Tagni. Thank you for your rose just a minute ago. Namo Buddhaya. And Annalie, thank you for your heartbeat. 9 roses and a trio of tiny tinies. Yippee! Yippee! Dagny, you had asked, and hello. What do I think sexuality is? What is its purpose? There are very many levels to it. The purpose at the level of the body is, of course, to continue our species. Without it, I don't think there'd be very much urge to have a child. But it's used for so many other things. The sexual energy, it's what creates life. It is non-different from the creative energy. If you've heard of the chakras, you may have heard that each chakra has 2 ways of opening. Or you could say that when they open, there is two ways in which you can have that opening expressed. Like the third eye chakra, one way in which it opens is through anger. If you're very angry, furious, that energy is right here. Another way is through pure alertness. When the heart begins opening, you can feel a lot of love, obviously. But you can also start feeling a lot of fear, and that's also a sign that you're opening. You become sensitive. The sacral chakra, it can open through sexuality, but it can also open through creativity. It is that same energy which imbues life unto creation. That is the very source of all meaning in this world. Consider this world the womb of the mother, and your consciousness as the seed from which life emerges. Hello, Katie. Thank you, Ginseng, for your pair of tiny tinies. Yum, 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 yum. Thank you, Dagny, for your rose. Katie, you share that you have trouble with motivation, feeling stuck. Do I have advice? Feeling stuck is very descriptive. Imagine a world that was entirely open, flat, just spaciousness. There'd be nowhere to be stuck. Being stuck requires you to be wedged between two places, between one corner and another. If you're feeling stuck, you might feel the pressure from two sides. Ask yourself, how can you open the space, clear the air? However you fell into that space, you can get yourself out of it just by doing the reverse. And motivation, don't worry about motivation. That's a grace. If that grace isn't there yet, nothing we can do but be patient until it comes. When I used to make videos, I would never make a video if I didn't have motivation. I would wait until motivation came and then I'd make one. Whatever it is, do it when you have that motivation. Have faith that it will come at the right time. Don't worry. The 108, a very auspicious number, 108. You speak about another number, 42. What is the meaning of life and why is it 42? I have a joke for you. You know what's 10 times greater than the life, the universe, and everything? Weed. It's 420, isn't it? 10 times 42 is 420. Must be 10 times better then. It's true, isn't it? On weed, we inflate life to be something bigger than it is. 42 is the number that arises from that story. A story which I seem to be lacking the name of. Someone tell me. I forget. Will I build this supercomputer or something? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. Thank you. And they ask it. Or wasn't it something like they figured out the answer, but they didn't know what the question was? That it had spent so long calculating, and the result was 42. But they didn't know what the question was that they started with. So it must be the answer to life, the universe, and everything. The ultimate answer. I don't know, I've never read the book. To me, there are only 3 numbers. 0, 1, and infinity. Your math teacher told you that infinity was not a number. Well, they're right, because there's 2 kinds of infinity. Potential infinity and absolute infinity. In calculus, you learn about potential infinity, the limit, and the limit is not a number. But in even higher math classes, you learn about absolute infinity, which is treated as a number. It's literally called a transfinite number. I believe that infinity, 1, and 0 are really the only numbers. Whenever the question arises, how many blah blah blah, the only answers that really make sense to me is either 1, none, or infinity. You ask, how many beings are there in existence? 1, none, or infinity. How many truths are there? 1, none, or infinity. How many ways to get to that truth? 1, none, or infinity. You can see, it is from that nothing there was this unity, and within that unity is everything. To many it's the one, but to the one it's the none. Speaking of numbers, I love you very much, Gina. And thank you for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, Rahina, for your heartbeat. Your 7 tiny diamonds. Yippee! And your 11 team bracelets. Thank you. Jai Sita Ram. Yes, what is your question, Jacob? Orla, you ask, why does 14344 stand for I love you? I'll let you think about it. I don't want to spoil the riddle. Thank you, Annalie, for your rose. Jacob, you asked, what scares me the most in life? I guess how pointless life would be if I didn't live up to my potential. To me, it's kind of the ultimate fear. Perhaps all fears can be boiled down to this. The fear of a lack of unfolding the potential that is there. Because the purpose of potential is to be unfolded If it never gets unfolded, then why is it hiding? Thank you, Liz, for the let 'em cook. I still don't know exactly what the symbol of that. It looks like a Goomba in the corner, the icon of the let 'em cook. It really does. I like the Sanskrit. Om Tat Tat. Om Tat Tat. Om Tat Sat. 1. Ekam. 0. Shunyata. 8. Ananta. Infinity. Ekam Shunyata Ananta. Grateful human, you ask, why hiding? Why do we hide? Because we're so excited that we try to contain ourselves. It's like that divine baby that created the universe, so excited to be everything, but there has to be some pace to it. There has to be just the perfect rate of expansion, not too slow, not too fast, just Thank you, Larissa, for your heartbeat. Radhe, Radhe. Jacob, you ask, why do we get scared of heights? I like this question. Everyone always says, you're not afraid of the height, you're afraid of falling. Well, if we're going with this train of logic, you're not even afraid of the falling. You're afraid of the ground hitting it. See, if you fell into a bottomless pit, what would there be to fear? A bottomless pit is the safest pit to fall into. It's funny, if the deeper the pit is, the more dangerous, then you'd expect an infinite pit to be the most dangerous. But it's actually the most safe. We're afraid of the impact. Yes. Thank you, Echo Leaf. We're afraid of sudden change. Because our body and mind cannot take sudden change. We need a gradual evolution. Okay, so a black hole is safer. Well, you'd have to worry about spaghettification as well, I guess. That your feet are being pulled towards the center a lot quicker than your head. You'd be stretched into a spaghetti noodle. It is infinite though, indeed. And isn't that amazing? That something finite can create something infinite. Because a star by itself, it has finite energy. Yet, if you bring all that energy to one point, it becomes infinite. Infinite space, infinite time, infinite density. The potential of the infinite is there within the finite. Do I think something infinite can end? Even infinities have limitations compared to bigger infinities. That you would get to the end of counting the whole numbers before ever getting to the end of counting the real numbers, those with decimal expansions. Thank you, Antonis, for your finger heart and heartbeat. Jai Sitaram. And Nene, thank you for your heartbeat. Hare Krishna. Tatvamasi, you're thinking, there is no my karma. There is just karma, and I choose to inherit it. Tatastu. What a beautiful realization you bring for everyone. I think that is precisely why it is possible to transcend one's karma even before getting to the end of it. Because it never was yours. We only choose to identify with it. Thank you, grateful human, for your quintet of tiny dinies. I seem to have lost my tiny diny once more. Keeps ending up on the floor, returning to all of the other dinies in the ground somewhere, in the form of fossils. Thank you, 31 Planes of Existence, for your hanging lights. And Tatvamasi, mucho gracias for your trio of roses. Obrigado. Jacob, you ask, but do I think something can change in an instant? There have been moments where my perspective has changed within an instant. But physically, this is like Zeno's paradox. If one shoots an arrow, in order for the arrow to get from here to here, it first must pass through this point, which means that it has to pass through this point, and this point, and this point, and this point. How is it possible for that arrow to move infinite points within a finite amount of time? What does it mean for that arrow to move the smallest unit in each moment? If this moment is indivisible, how can movement arise from infinitesimal changes? Tatvamasi, you share that a ripe fruit falls in an instant, but we forget how long it took to ripen. I like that. reminds me of Sadhguru's analogy of the mango tree. The whole life of the tree, before it produces the mango, you take a bite out of any part of it. Is there sweetness? You eat a leaf. Does it taste like a mango? You rip a part of its bark off. Does it taste like a mango? You pull off a root. Chew on the root. Mango there. You grab a clod of soil. Soil tastes like mango. You breathe in the air. Soak up the sunlight. Drink the water. Any of that tastes like mango. But yet the moment the fruit falls, you take a bite of that mango, all the sweetness is there. Therefore it must have been there somewhere. In the sunlight, water, soil, root, bark, or leaf. Sweetness must have been there. We just couldn't taste it yet. Kal, you share that you got called weird because of your eyes and you don't like bullies. Weird is just a synonym for uniqueness. Specifically a kind of uniqueness that they didn't understand. Being weird is a beautiful thing. I hope to be weird. I hope to be unique in a way that other people have yet to understand, because it forces them to come into contact with that which they have yet to recognize as a part of life. The weirder you are, the more those around you awaken, and the more yourself becomes normalized. Jacob, you ask, can you all have a history lesson? It's very interesting. I've never been asked this question before. I remember my history teacher, Jose Ignacio Tudela. He was from Chile. He would say that there are no facts, only interpretations. What we call as history, I love how the word story is in it. It's a story that we tell. And that story comes in many ways. How you tell one story is going to be very different from how I tell the same story. Therefore, the only way to get a full picture of what really happened is to listen to everybody's story. Kal, you share, you used to wear shades, but now you just let them stare. I like that. Isn't it interesting, the way you put that? They are your eyes, and yet you are granting them vision. Your eyes do the one seeing, but they are the ones staring. Ah, how beautifully poetic. Thank you for sharing that. Jacob, you would like some history of World War II. My father loves World War II, learning about it. I'll tell you one cool thing. Rocket technology was very much accelerated during World War II. That the Germans invented a whole new propulsion system in their V2 rockets. And the very same scientists after the war, they were kidnapped by America in Operation Paperclip. And they used the very same rocket engines on the Saturn V rocket to send humanity to the moon. So the very same engines which were used to inflict suffering, to stop the beating hearts of many innocent lives, were used to open the hearts of inspiring children who watched us conquer the limitations of space, technology. I think anyone who was born in and around the 60s will remember that feeling of what it was like to know that for the first time in history, one of us was walking on that celestial abode we call our moon. That is truly inspiring, and it goes to show that even amidst darkness, there is the potential for light. That something that can be used for war can also be used for flight. I mean, talk about fight or flight. Hare Krishna, Gabriel. Welcome back. Golf in a Canoe, you ask how much for a reading? $0. I don't charge because I don't give readings. But some of my copycats do. I'm very enamored. They like my personality so much they try to replicate it. That's just why there is a banner up there. Hello, Tail. You ask, what's my input on vivid dreams and astral projections? Anytime we take to interface with our subconscious is a good time. Actually, we astral project all the time. In therapy, for example. Therapy doesn't work without astral projection. Because it's an invitation to project your subconscious into the moment so that you may be guided to understanding a part of it. The purpose of therapy is to interface with your subconscious. Because if your problems were fully conscious, there'd be no questions about it. So we have to go deep within our subconscious mind. You know, the astral is another word for the subconscious. The astro is the outer cosmology, but the astral is our inner cosmology, our subconscious, the universe that exists deep within us. So much is there. So much is there. Shauna, you would like for me to yell in the microphone? Okay, I will. Did you hear me? HKY, you would like to hear the Big Bang story? Well, that's the story of all stories, isn't it? Long ago, there was the one amidst the none. There was no time, there was no space, no up or down, no forward or backward, no left or right, no before or after, no me and no you. There was the one. Why don't we read about a Big Bang-like story from a scripture that has been dated to be 8,000 years old, which is nowhere near the Big Bang, but it's as close as we get in our scriptures. Let's talk about the beginning. From the Nasadya Sukta of the Rig Veda, the oldest text we know of. The non-existent was not then, nor was the existent. The world was not, nor the firmament, nor that which is beyond. When there was nothing then, what could cover what? And where and in whose care did the waters and the bottomless deep then exist? There was no death nor immortality then. There was no sign of light, nor of darkness. That one breathed without extraneous breath, with its own nature. Other than that one, there was nothing beyond. In the beginning, there was darkness, intensified darkness, indistinguishable darkness. All this visible world was reduced to its primordial nature. This primordial world, which was enveloped by the all-pervading power of one, before whom the world of matter is a trifle, became one, that is, came into existence. Through the force of its inherent intense activity and spiritual fervor. In the beginning, a divine will arose. This was the first seed of the mind of the Creator. Those who can see beyond by putting their mind and heart together found the binding link of the existent in the non-existent existing in the existent. Those rays of divine will spread across the whole universe. They spread below and above. The result was that small and cosmic life bearing seeds were born. As the existence of the world was dependent on the divine will of the Creator, the position of matter was lower than the spirit, which acted on the divine will. But who truly knows, and who can declare whence it cometh, and whither it vanisheth? Even divine beings, who know were born much after creation came into being, who then knows whence it has come about, whence this creation has come, who holds or does not hold? That one who is its witness in the highest abode. They alone knoweth, and yet doth they know? One of my favorite parts of the Rig Veda, one of my favorite passages of any scripture, really. Doth, it's a good word. Gabriel, you ask, are you worth it? You are worth more than even those asteroids above that NASA says are worth quadrillions of dollars. You are worth more than the diamonds that rain down on the surfaces of so many planets in our cosmic abode. You are priceless beyond measure, infinite in extent. Someone could trade the whole world for you, and it still would be a bad deal. And thank you, Tatvamasi, for your pair of finger hearts. Hari Om Tat Sat. Nikatos, you ask, is there any similarities with the Bible? I was thinking about that. Actually, let me open up that verse again, because there's one verse in it that made me think of one of the lines in Genesis. Okay, I've got the Vedas open. Now opening the Bible. I've got the Vedas on my left leg, the Bible on my right. Sounds like a song, but I don't know the rest. See if I can open up to Genesis. This should be easy to find. It's got to be at the start of the book. Yes, there it is. You know what I like about Bible paper being very thin? Is that it forces you to be delicate, gentle with these words. Okay. So when I was reading Rig Veda from the 10th canto, 129th chapter, 5th verse, the position of matter was lower than the spirit which acted with the divine will. That reminded me with Genesis 1:2, where God's Spirit hovered over the water. Similarly, there was the talk of there being darkness and the waters of the bottomless deep. That reminded me of there being darkness over the deep in Genesis 1:2. in case you're curious. These words are dated in Genesis much more than 2,000 years ago. Probably maybe more like 5,000 years ago in the Old Testament. The Vedas, especially the Rig Veda, is dated to like 5,000 years ago also, but probably even more, like 8,000. You're welcome, Nick. I like that comparison and contrasting, or really more like the unification there. There is a lot of unity to be made. Maybe one day someone can make an Excel spreadsheet where you have all the verses of, let's say, the Bible, and then in the next column you have all the complementary verses in the Quran, and then in the next column all the complementary verses of the Vedas, etc., etc. You see that there's one verse that is the same for each and every one. And then nowadays, I was just about to say, Kal, exactly, AI can do that. And then we can ask the AI to take all of those equivalent verses and then rephrase it into the common theme. And then you get the universal scripture that speaks on behalf of all of them simultaneously. That'd be really cool. I think we're going to see a lot of interplay between AI and religion in the coming decades, centuries, millennium. Definitely. You shared that you used AI to tidy your room the best way. That's awesome. I love that. And thank you, Gabriel, for your hat and mustache. Hari Om Tat Sat. Yeehaw. I'm so happy to see the love shared with Gabriel. You guys are so inspiring. Makes me happy. And hello, Angie. So, I think it is a good time to start wrapping things up for tonight. But I thank you all for coming tonight. There are 2 other things I'd like to do with you all. I'd like to ask you my question of the day again. This is where you come in, Sky Guardian. And then we'll be reading from a final section of our book, In Love at Ease. And good night, Sydney. Thank you, Linda, for your 16 roses. That is the 3rd tetration of 2. Y'all heard about counting, and then they taught you the next step. Repeated counting is called addition. And then when you got the hang of that, they said, guess what? Repeated addition is called multiplication. And then they said, guess what? Repeated multiplication, that's called exponentiation. And if you're patient in your math education, maybe one day, and maybe that day is today, they'll teach you that repeated exponentiation is called tetration. 2 tetrated thrice is 16. That's 2 to the 2 to the 2. 2 to the power of itself 3 times. 2 exponentiated thrice. So thank you, Linda. Now, it has to be math for ASMR Sunday. How else am I going to get you all to fall asleep? Garden. My question of the day for you all today is, what have you done to take care of yourself today? That was pretty funny. I'm giving you subliminal messages. You want to rest in a garden. You want to take a nap on a patch of moss. Gabriel, you had a shower. I love to hear that. I know that for us neurodivergent, by us I'm including whoever wants to participate under that label. Not saying you are, Gabriel, but I know that showers can be very overstimulating. I definitely have a hard time getting myself to do it sometimes. It takes a lot of energy. So that's wonderful, and I'm happy to hear that. Very, very overstimulation. Definitely. Allison, you're finishing up with the IRS. For a second, my brain didn't read the word with, so I thought you were finishing up the IRS. Like, finally, someone's getting rid of them. Someone's finishing them off. But good. Happy to hear that. You shared that you fed your cat. Good. I fed my kitties before going live. Sometimes I forget to do that, and afterwards, it's so sad when they give up on being hungry. It's like, well, if they're not going to feed us, I guess I'll just curl up and die. And I wake them up, hey, it's time for food, finally. And they go, yippee! I do that too. I am planning on going live tomorrow, indeed will. 5 p.m. Pacific time. Carl, you share you watched this? Scott, you share that you meditated and ate and drank and visited loved ones. I'm happy to hear that. Angie, you sat outside listening to the birds, talking in nature. Oh, what a wonderful day. I love that. Kara Visuddha, you had yoga and nap. I like that. What's the name for the yoga of sleep? I think it starts with an N. Nidra yoga? Something like that. Orla, you tried a shower meditation for the first time today. Taking out the IRS physically. Within your meditation. Liz, you share that tonight I should try and set a goal to sleep early. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate that. I will do so for you. Gina, you share that, well, yesterday was Sunday, and you and your elder sister go out and eat your favorite food at the mall. Oh, I love to hear that. Good. Amarantha, and you share happy enough. Your 11 cats and 1 bunny is full. Good. L.A., you share that you saw a therapist because you were feeling sad after our 14-year relationship ended. I would feel sad too. In fact, sad sounds like an understatement. If you're not feeling sad after that much time, I think you definitely need a therapist. So it's good that you have a method of expressing those feelings to someone in a healthy way. That's very good. Kalki, you share, oh, you made oat milk and grape and blueberry cake with Papa. That sounds good. Allison, you share that it's me versus your printer right now. Yeah, I think seems to be the case with all printers. I don't know a single person who has a good relationship with their printer. It's such a simple device. Why does it have to be so complicated? You have Word. You make Word go on paper. Paper, Word. How hard? Christine, you fed your cats and you ate rice. Good. Shay, you share that you are a vendor at a mystic fest today. You shared your intention candle gifts with your community. I love that. What a wonderful day. Good energy. Thank you, Om, for your pair of friendship necklaces. Hari Om Tat Sat. Jen, you share that you spent the day with your daughter for her 8th birthday. We rode a mountain coaster. I love that. Definitely a fear conquered for her, I'm sure. And for you. You know, when I was just a little boy, I've never ridden on a roller coaster. I don't know if any of you know what I'm talking about, but in SpongeBob, there's this scene where SpongeBob and it's a whole episode. But SpongeBob and Patrick go to Glove World, and SpongeBob's terrified of all the rides. He's even scared of the little dinky ride that's just a loop with a tiny little bump in it, and that's the entire roller coaster. But I kid you not, that exact thing happened to me. I went to a park in Calgary called Callaway Park, and for the kids who are too scared to ride the bigger roller coaster, there's this dinky little roller coaster that just has a little bump. And I was terrified. I was screaming the whole time. In fact, my dad was so concerned that he screamed at the attendant to turn the roller coaster off since I was so scared, even though it was just this little dinky thing with a tiny bump. Allison, you were in the other room when I said that. You laughed so loud. Aw, that's fun. Seriously, printer. You have one job, right? Printers are a test of patience, that's for sure. Angie, you share that you feed all the animals that live in the woods. They all come around you when they see you. Oh, you are like a Disney princess. Robbie, you ask, how do you stop nightmares? By waking up. By realizing that they're a dream. that they are of your own creation. Being lucid of this, conscious of this, they cannot harm you. But they arise from our subconscious due to the impressions that we feed it during the day. So take care of yourself when it comes to the food that you give your mind. What stories do you read? How do people speak with you? What shows do you watch? A lot of us spend so much energy investing in scary stories, in action movies, watching terrible things happen on the news. It can overwhelm one's mind. It is good to be aware of how we can help, but it's only going to limit us when we get overwhelmed by it all. Therefore, take the time to listen to one positive story every day. A story of something inspiring, encouraging. Surround yourself with words of affirmation and love, and eventually your subconscious will get the impression. And hello, Sarah. You were hoping to find me here. Well, I am here. Indeed. Come to think of it, I've always been here. I've never been there. You know? It's not like, oh, there I am. It's always, oh, here I am. That's your foot I'm talking into. Oh, there you are. Coochie coochie coo. Where's the backside? Coochie coochie coo. No, it's ticklish. Alright, thank you everyone for attending to my question of the day. I didn't hear Sky Guardian's answer. He must be working on what he's doing to take care of himself. That's good. So before we end today's Sangha, I would like to first ask you, Sarah, how are you doing? How are you feeling? And then we're going to close with a short reading from our book. And thank you, Matt, for your ice cream cone. Radhe, Radhe. You're hanging in. I'm happy to hear that. I like your use of yellow heart emojis. I think yellow is such a lovely color. Very bright and nourishing. And thank you, Mahina, for your trio of roses. You know, I haven't asked my mother what her favorite color is in a while. It used to be yellow. I think I'm gonna ask her. But I'm feeling well. Thank you. So let us read from another section of In Love at Ease. This is a book about Pramukh Swami Maharaj and everyday spirituality with him. He was really in love and at ease with everything. We are in the second chapter, called In Love. The third part of which is all about his parabhakti. The first few parts were about his love for everyone around him, for animals, for nature. Now we're talking about his love for, and his love for the self as well. taking care of one's body and mind. Now we're talking about his love for God and Guru, which is important in his tradition. That is the divine and the spiritual guide, which leads you to the divine. When love matures, so much is said without speaking. A true lover knows what their guru is thinking and feeling, even in silence. Though it is easier to follow an injunction than it is to know what is in the mind of your beloved. Swamishri not only did what was asked of him by his gurus, but he also did what was not explicitly asked of him. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, his Ishta Devata, in the Vachanamrut, Karyani 11. Bhagwan Swaminarayan notes this quality as the ultimate form of love in his Vachanamrut, Karyani 11. One who is in love does according to their beloved's marji. Pramukh Swami Maharaj could anticipate what his gurus wanted. While preparing for the 75th birthday celebrations for Yogi Ji Maharaj, the leaders of the satsang community were at an impasse. They could not decide where to hold the celebration. It was clear to everyone that Yogi Ji Maharaj wanted to invite the bhaktas, the devotees, to his dear Gondal. However, that village did not have infrastructure to provide water to accommodate large crowds. The trustees suggested central Gujarat as an alternative. The back and forth continued while Yogi Ji Maharaj, who is Pranamukh Swami's guru's guru, and later his guru after his guru died, or left his body, more accurately. The back and forth continued while Yogi Ji Maharaj listened in silence. Swamishri could read what was in his guru's heart. He waited for the room to quiet down, and then he gently announced, "Good night, Sarah. Much love to you. Yes, do rest your healing brain." The festival will be celebrated in Gondal. I will take care of the water. Yogi Ji Maharaj's face lit up. He gently placed his hand on Swamishri's head and blessed him. Swamishri persevered for an entire month to get a pipe with potable water to accommodate the logistics of the festival. It was worth it. He had acted in accordance with his guru's marji. In love, one is able to sacrifice that which is dear for one's guru. Swamishri sacrificed all that was dear to him for his gurus. Shastraji Maharaj, who was his guru, asked him to cast aside his desire to study English, to study Sanskrit instead. Swamishri studied Sanskrit in Bhadran and earned the Shastri degree, though he had originally desired to study English. One of Yogi Ji Maharaj's ask of Swamishri was even harder. Swamishri had been given a special mala, prayer beads or rosary beads, by his guru, Shastraji Maharaj. This mala had been passed down in spiritual lineage by disciples of the senior sadhus from Bhagwan Swaminarayan's time. It was turned and sanctified by Bhagwan Swaminarayan more than 200 years ago. Shastraji Maharaj had given this mala to Swamishri for two reasons. First, it signified a continuance of master-disciple relationship. gurus would often give their disciples sanctified relics and ritual objects as a mark of their lineage. Second, Shastraji Maharaj shared this mala as a sign of his Rajipo on his young disciple. This mala was Swamishri's life. It was important, twice over, given by his guru and sanctified by the manifestation of the divine. A senior bhakta devotee from Mumbai asked to borrow the mala from Swamishri to show a few other bhaktas. Swamishri did not want to upset the bhakta, so he agreed. The senior bhakta, however, never intended to return the mala. A few days later, when Swamishri asked for the mala, the senior bhakta acted coy. This back and forth continued a few times, and Swamishri even approached Yogiji Maharaj to ask him to intervene. After all, this was Bhagwan Swaminarayan's sanctified mala, the divine being from whom their whole organization and lineage has arisen from centuries ago. The senior bhakta too approached Yogiji Maharaj and asked him to tell Pramukh Swami not to ask for the mala again. Yogiji Maharaj realized that the mala would never be returned. He turned to Pramukh Swami Maharaj and gestured him to forget about the 200-year-old relic. Swamishri nodded in silence. That was all it took for Swamishri to part with one of his most prized possessions, because he understood his guru's silent wish. In love, one thinks and acts in union with one's beloved. The ultimate act of bhakti, loving devotion, by a disciple is to walk in the footsteps of their guru, to pass on and carry forth the love experienced and the lessons learned. Once, in Bochasan, when Brahma Viharidas Swami returned to Swamishri's room with a letter, Swamishri reached to turn on the lights in his room on either side of his sofa. After he finished reading the letter, Swamishri reached to turn off both the lights. Brahma Viharidas Swami could not hold his observation and asked, "Why must you do everything yourself? Let us help. Let us do the little things so you can focus on that which matters. I am tired of seeing you work so hard." That's how I feel about my mother. Swamishri smiled and retorted, "But I have not tired. You have never seen my guru, Shastraji Maharaj. He served God and the community until his last breath. He was never scant, nor did he ever ask for help. He just served, no complaints or expectations. He did everything by himself. How can I not do the same as my guru?" In another interaction, Swamishri told the sadhus, "My gurus had given me so much spiritual satisfaction that I cannot sit with my legs idle. I must serve. This feeling is inspired by their affection and love." Swamishri did just that. He served until his last breath. Swamishri's final wish was to eternally lay in the service of God and his guru. As his health deteriorated, Swamishri called the senior sadhus and his personal attendants to share specific instructions on how and where he wanted to be cremated. Swamishri asked to be laid to rest in front of the main mandir, facing Bhagwan Swaminarayan, as well as on the side of the memorial mandir for his Guru Shastraji Maharaj. the Shastraji Maharaj Smriti Mandir. And in true disciple fashion, he reminded the sadhus that if not that he wished them to, they made a memorial to make it smaller and shorter than his guru's memorial. He was a disciple his whole life. That is how he wanted to be remembered after leaving his mortal body. The ideal spiritual master never stopped being the ideal spiritual disciple. And with that, it appears that we end the third part of the second chapter, and next time we may begin in the business of bhakti. Thank you for listening. You all were so attentive. Very attentive. Not a single word was spoken in chat. I think that's a first. I don't think there's any other live on this whole platform that pauses, even with 100 audience members, to listen to a reading. I'm very honored. Good morning, plant dreams. You may go back to sleep. So without further ado, we end today's Sangha. Much love and respect to you, Cookie. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you. Annika, I hope you enjoyed it, Aquaman. It's very humbling. One cheeky chick. I have to use my words very carefully. Therefore, no pressure. Hello, Sean. Ram Ram. It is a good meditation. I was listening also. I am committed to the growth in all of you as I learn and grow together with you. As always, this recording will be uploaded, this one to my Yamsox ASMR YouTube channel, which at the time of speaking is the second link in the link tree in my bio. Most lives are uploaded to Yamsox Lives, but I think people can use this for relaxation, so I've dedicated that channel for that purpose. I love you very much, G to infinity. And I love the family that is forged and all of the relationships here. It's beautiful. I agree, one cheeky chick. Thank you, the link below, for your hanging lights. And thank you, Peckless, for your hanging lights also. The two of you light up my live. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Cookie, for your half-dozen roses. You know, I'm cookie deprived. I haven't had a cookie in a long time. The whispered live hit. Oh, good. Yes, that reminds me, we can do a whispered live for the duration of next week's ASMR Sunday. So thank you all for being here. May this live stream be an offering to Radha Krishna, divine feminine and masculine within you, my dear viewers. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Shyam Shyam, Radhe Radhe. Such a beautiful sound. I love them too. Alright, may you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. If any of you ever have any concerns, or if you ever want to share anything, my inbox is always open on other platforms. Namaste. Goodbye, everyone.